Before the game against Leicester, we were doing the build-up show, myself and Gio, and somebody wrote in, whatever you do, and asked, would you take a point now? This is obviously pre-match, when we know the team at this point. And I said, no, I wouldn't. This team, Leicester, are beatable. We can beat them. It was third against fourth, or near enough with the game in hand. And I didn't think it's not first against 20th. If we can beat Leicester, we'd already beaten them 3-0 early in the season. I thought there was no way we should be going into that game accepting a draw. And so it proved. Now, yesterday's video, in the comments section, I think it was Chris Topper. He asked the question, would you cash out for Europa League now? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't sell the dream. I wouldn't cash it in. And I don't think David Moyes would either. And you know what? I don't think any of the players would. Because I think they are going for it. I think Declan Rice let the cat out of the bag earlier on in the season when he said the players were going for it and were thinking of European football, probably about a day or two after David Moyes had said they weren't even discussing it. If you remember, I did a video and I spoke about Martin O'Neill and the speech he'd given to the Celtic team about how he would speak in the press and the reality of it. I think this is a similar situation. So, no, I absolutely wouldn't do it. I think the Aaron Cresswell injury is... it's going to sound like a regurgitated argument, which it is. Cresswell was a big loss and he's a massive loss. And I don't know, by the time this video comes out, which will be the next day for me after I've recorded it, there's going to be, I would imagine, some news, and we suspect it will be a hamstring. It doesn't look good. It does seem that we're falling apart at the seams. But that's only in terms of personnel and the players being lost. Actually, tactically, we're not falling apart at the seams at all. Motivationally, I don't think we are. I think fitness is starting to get the better of us because it's not that we have a particularly small squad, but we're not keen. Moyes isn't keen to use all of them in there. So it's all very well having Fredericks, but what's he played a game and a half in the last number of months? He's not really being utilised. Odebeko, he might be there, he might be on the bench, but he's not being utilised, so other people are not getting a rest. And Lanzini, I know he's injured at the moment, but he wasn't really being used that much, and so on it goes. So I think that the fatigue is playing a little bit into it, but we are there. We're there on merit. There's no way you can look after 31 games and think that a team isn't there on merit. I think they normally say about 10 games the league sort of balances out and you can tell who's there. It's very, very normal in a league when the league starts after a couple of games that possibly even a team that's been promoted are sort of up near the top. This is normal. But what I wanted to do was just have a look at some of the other teams and their fixtures. I know we've done this before, but we've played another 8 games since then, maybe not, 6, 7 maybe. We played a number of games since then, and we're still there, and we're still hanging on in there. The next 2 games are pivotal. And I know I said get to the last 3 games within striking distance, and I'd fancy us. I think get 4 points out of the next 2 games, and I think we're actually on for it. I think it's very, very hard to deny us a Champions League place. That's barring any additional injuries. And the Cresswell one, which is what I was saying, is a bad one because he creates so many of our goals. But we do have another guy that takes corners and takes set pieces, and it's Jared Bowen. He does so extremely well. And we also don't know how good Jesse Lingard is at corners and free kicks. I suspect he's quite good as well. And it's almost biding time until Declan comes back. Anyway, just looking at the Premier League and the teams around us, Chelsea's running's really, really interesting. I've got it down here, obviously looking at it, got the laptop down there. They've got to play Man City in the semi-final of the Cup and Brighton and Porto before they play us. So we've only got to play Newcastle. So they're playing Porto. They can't hang around there. They've got to... It's 2-0 on aggregate. But they're not going to get away with playing the reserves. The Man City game, I don't know how seriously Tuchel will take the cup. We just don't know. But he's not going to want to lose out to Manchester City. There's some bragging rights there. He's going to want to beat Pep Guardiola's team. And then Brighton, when I've seen Brighton play recently, actually, they've looked all right. They ain't a bad team. And then they come up against us. So, and what is interesting, they play Brighton on the Tuesday, then us on the Saturday. But it's late on the Tuesday as well. So, I don't know. I think there's a couple of little things there. It then goes on that then Chelsea have got to play Fulham, They've got to play Man City in the league. They've got to play Arsenal in the league. Then they've got to play Leicester in the league. And then Aston Villa. Now, all right, I guess the Aston Villa one's probably a dead rubber by that point. But that is not an easy run-in. That's not. So our game against them becomes crucially important. Here's Leicester's. Now, again, Leicester have got to play a semi-final, which is against Southampton. Then they play West Brom. I would imagine that's possibly the last game that West Brom... I would imagine that will be the mathematical one, something like that. West Brom lose that and they're down. Or it could... The permutations could work out like that. They're playing Crystal Palace, Southampton, Newcastle. Then it's Man U, Chelsea, Tottenham. It's not an easy run-in. It really isn't. The last 3 games are in a contrast to ours. As ours are relatively easy, as you'll hear in a minute. Now, Liverpool, I do think, have the easiest run-in there. Having that being said, they've got to go and play Real Madrid, and they're 3-1 down on aggregate. And after they've gone and played Real Madrid, they then play Leeds. That ain't an easy game. I would not be at all surprised to see Leeds win that. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I think they're capable of... I actually think on their day, Leeds are capable of beating anyone. They just need the correct opposition. I think it's hard for Leeds against a team like West Ham, against a team like us, where we're quite resolute and we're a little bit naughty, aren't we, with the tactical stuff, and the defending's very good. But against Liverpool, I don't know, a tired Liverpool that have just, that have played in Europe. That being said, they play on the Monday, so maybe they get the additional rest. They then play Newcastle, which they should win comfortably. And then Man United, that can't be an easy game. Then it's Southampton, West Brom, Burnley and Palace. I think by and large, I make a reason for Leeds being tough, Man United being tough, but I do think they have probably 5 games that they are going to win there. But it only takes one of those to be a draw, and it starts to get interesting. But I do think that's a relatively easy running compared to some of the others. Tottenham are an interesting team because Tottenham... He seems to be capitulating, doesn't it? He's sort of lost his way a bit, Jose Mourinho, which is what he does in recent years. He's not the happy-go-lucky, jolly, cheeky Jose Mourinho that rocked up at Chelsea, however long... Well, I don't know. When did he first go to Chelsea? I don't know, 16, 17 years ago, something like that. It's not the same guy. He doesn't want to be there. It's the same for any club he's been at in recent years. He's niggly in his press conferences. He's not particularly complimentary to his players. You felt when he was at Chelsea that first time with Terry and Lampard and Drogba and all that, it was a family. You felt he was building a family. I can't imagine Daniel Levy will be like him. What's going on? And I don't know. I just think regardless of their fixture list, which is here now, which I'll tell you right now, the fixture list is Everton. Well, we'll speak about them in a minute. Southampton, Man City, Sheffield United, Leeds, Wolves, Villa, Leicester. It ain't the easiest running, and this is not a club that are in a happy place at the moment. It's not a happy club, you know what I mean? We'll go down to Everton because that's as far as I'm willing to go for this. Everton have got to play, well, but actually we'll already know, won't we? Because they're playing Brighton. You'll know the result. I don't know the result. I'm recording this. They don't kick off for another hour and a quarter, basically. You'll know the result. But after that, they've got Tottenham, and then they got Arsenal. Are they going to win both of those games? You almost think they have to stay in the chase. They have games in hand, you see. 2 games in hand. Villa, us, we play them. Important game for us. Sheffield United, Wolves, they finish up with Man City. Okay. I mean, but destiny is in our hands with that one, and I think they've got 3 games which might not be that easy, not including ours. As I say, I don't know what's going to happen with Brighton tonight. Everton beat Thrash Brighton. Well, Brighton looks all right, but I'm not going to say too much, so I look silly because you already know the result. And then let's just go to our fixtures, just ever so quickly now, which, are Newcastle next. Then we play Chelsea. Crucial game. Burnley. It's important. Newcastle, Burnley, don't slip up. Don't slip up at all. Then we got Everton. And once we do that, then we've got the games that should make the difference to this season. Stay in the chase up until then. Brighton, as I say, Brighton are no pushovers, but I'd hope to have Declan back by then, certainly. Then you've got West Brom. Hopefully they're relegated by then. And then Southampton, you'd sort of imagine that Southampton won't particularly have anything to play for. And we do all right. We haven't got the worst record in the world against Southampton. So these are not insurmountable tasks that we have here. We're bang in it. We are bang in it. We just got to make sure we don't do a West Hamites, as I call it, and capitulate against Burnley or West Brom or something like that. But the most important part is getting past the Chelsea game, well in touch with it. I can't concentrate on the Europa League, and as I said at the start, which is what Chris said, would I cash in my chips? No, cash out, isn't it? Would I cash out now for Europa League football? No, I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. It's there to be got. And if we manage to do that, and we'll discuss this tomorrow probably, the number of players and the type of player that we can attract should be very, very different.